Welcome to the Various Views YouTube channel. Why we look down on others. Sometimes, we don't even realize it. A small thought, a quick judgment, a silent feeling of being above someone. Not said out loud, but felt. And strangely, it feels normal. But have you ever paused and asked, why does this happen so easily? Why does the mind compare, rank, and quietly place people below us? Often, it doesn't come from confidence. It comes from something much quieter. A need to feel okay about ourselves. Because, when something feels uncertain inside, the mind looks for quick ways to feel stronger. And comparison becomes the easiest shortcut. And sometimes, it's not just about feeling small. It's about protecting how we see ourselves. Because if someone else is doing well, the mind quietly asks, what does that say about me? So, instead of expanding, it reduces others. Not as truth, but as protection. But that's not the only reason. Sometimes, we don't even choose this thinking. We inherit it. Ideas like, we are better than them. And people like us are different. Slowly become part of how we see the world, without ever questioning it. And then, something even subtler happens. We grow up in systems that constantly measure us. Be it marks, jobs, status, or lifestyle. Everything becomes a scale. So, naturally, we begin to see people the same way. As if human worth can be ranked. And sometimes, what begins as a small judgment slowly turns into distance, and then into the way we treat people. We just don't pause long enough to understand. We see someone's situation, but not their story. So, we label quickly, instead of looking deeper. And sometimes, we judge first. Just to avoid feeling judged ourselves. Because, staying on the higher side feels safer than feeling exposed. But here's something worth noticing. The moment we feel above someone, we've already created a distance. Not just from them, but from understanding. Maybe the question is not, why are people like this? Maybe it's, when do I do this, without realizing? Because awareness doesn't judge. It just sees clearly. That's where change quietly begins. And maybe, there's something else worth noticing. When someone looks down on you, it often says more about their inner world than your worth. Not in a dismissive way, but in a clarifying way. Because truly grounded people don't need to compare, don't need to diminish, don't need to prove superiority. They simply see others as human. Not as hierarchy. Because, in a world full of information, learning to separate sense from noise may be one of the most valuable skills we can have. And that is what a clarity check is all about. Thank you for watching. If this conversation resonated with you, you are always welcome here. Where reflection meets clarity. And if you'd like to return for more, you may consider subscribing.